Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. Now in this video, we are going to be talking about how, why, and how much it would cost you in order to set up a second account for gold making. Now, if you are a long-term viewer of the channel, about 3 months ago, a little over 3 months ago now, I have actually created this same type of video, but a lot of things have changed, including WoW token price, the amount of WoW tokens that you have to buy, as well as exactly how you should go through this process. So in this video, I'm going to talk about all of the updated news and also show you a step-by-step process on actually how to set up the second account and also TSM with that. Now, because this is a gold making channel, the reasoning and everything behind actually creating a second account is going to be focused on the gold making side. However, if you are somebody who just wants a second account either for personal use or for alts or something like that, you can of course follow this tutorial. It is the exact same way how to do all of this stuff. But just all the reasonings behind why I would suggest creating a second account is going to be focused on just making more gold. But without further ado, we are going to get right into this video. So the first thing we are going to be talking about is the exact reasons why you should be thinking about a second account. Now, everybody is different and everybody is going to have different opinions and reasons on what they think is worth it and not worth it. So these are just my few suggestions, and if any of this sounds pretty good to you, I would ultimately suggest to actually go about making a second account. So the first main reason that we do have is that it will cut down your crafting time basically in half. Now, what I'm talking about here is those long crafting sessions that you, me, and I think everyone is almost familiar with, specifically talking about the multi-step processes into creating items, specifically in inscription as well as prospecting inside of jewelry crafting. Both of these professions, jewelry crafting and inscription, kind of have an additional step towards them, which is that milling and that prospecting. Now, as you can see here, I am on my inscriptionist. So what I have done is actually mass milled Death Blossom, which if you guys are familiar with that, mass milling Death Blossom is an activity on itself. It takes quite a while in order to mass mill, and after you complete that mass milling, then you actually have to turn your pigments into inks, which is yet again another crafting process. And then after you finally craft those inks, then you finally have to turn that into whatever you are crafting. So instead of something where you just buy cloth or you just buy leather, you actually have to buy herbs, turn that into pigment, turn that into ink, and then finally you can turn that into your crafted item. So for example, right now, if I were to craft 891 luminous ink, it would cost me 22 minutes just to do that. And normally, if you're crafting luminous ink, you would also have to craft umbral ink, which could be double that. So once again, 22 minutes and then 22 minutes for umbral ink, and you would be sitting here crafting for 45 minutes in total. And now I actually have a mathematical example, which I actually just did right before this video. This is a real world example. I will have some screenshots, and we're just going to talk about the math real quick. So with inscription and milling, we are going to take about 10,000 Death Blossom. So if you are somebody who just bought up 10,000 Death Blossom and you want to turn it all into inks, the first process is mass milling. And with that mass milling, it is going to take you about 16 minutes in order to just mill the herb into pigments. So taking 10,000 Death Blossom, it will take you about 16 minutes just to do that process. After that, you have an estimated around anywhere between 1,400 to 1,500 pigments of each kind. I did not include Tranquil ink in this example. Now, Tranquil ink in general is just going to give you more crafting time. However, we are just using the luminous and the umbral ink, for example. So you're going to get about 1,500 of each. Now, in my actual case, I got 1,400 luminous ink and I got 1,500 umbral ink. So turning those pigments into ink, the luminous is going to take 35 minutes, and then the umbral is going to cost 40 minutes. So if you only will have one account, you can only run one character at a time, so you're stuck with that one character, which means you cannot do this simultaneously. So with the milling time, as well as both of the inks crafting time, that is a 91 minutes in total, which is over an hour and a half of just crafting inks. So at this point, you have spent an hour and a half on this character, practically doing nothing besides sitting around, and you haven't even crafted an item to sell on the auction house yet. Then after that, after you craft up your inks, let's say you do want to make tomes of the Still Mind, which are right here, which is just the classic thing that every raider and everybody needs. And as you can see, it costs 3 of each ink. So if we want to take that 1400 luminous that we got and that 1500 umbral, we can make about 466 tomes. So each tome takes 2 seconds to craft, which means that is an additional 15 minutes of crafting. So in total, you spend an hour and a half just preparing your materials, and then another 15 minutes in order to actually craft the final product which you're selling on the auction house. In total, that is 146 minutes used of your time in order to complete this process, which if you are selling multiple tomes a day, let's say you're selling 200 tomes a day, that means 466 tomes might last you, 2 days, maybe 3 days, and then you will have to take an hour and a half once again, or an hour and 45 minutes and do this process practically every 3 days, which is a lot of time and effort. Now, let's say you have in a second account, which means that you can run 2 characters at the simultaneously same time. That means you can instantly cut out your crafting and your milling in half. So as let's say this first account is crafting up those 1400 luminous ink, my second character can be crafting up the umbral ink, which automatically removes 40 minutes of the crafting time because of instead of crafting the inks separately at different times, you can do it at the exact same time, saving you 40 minutes. So of course, you still have to mill the herbs, you still have to create the inks. However, instead of doing them after each other, you're doing them at the same time. And then of course, you still have to create the tomes. So crafting that actually takes an hour and 45 minutes now only takes about an hour because you remove about those 40 minutes there. So I guess an hour and 5 minutes if you want to be exact. So with that example, 40 minutes is a huge time slot. Now let's say each tome is giving you about 200 gold profit. 466 tomes, that will get you about 90k profit if you're profiting 200 gold each. And so if you want to round the an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours and you're making about 90k profit, that means you're making about 45k an hour. However, if you take away that 40 minutes, that means you are crafting 90k in exactly 1 hour and about 5 minutes. So your crafting cost, your technical gold per hour can double. And it's just very, very good, especially if you don't have a lot of time in the day. A lot of people, you either have work, you have a family, or you just don't want to sit around crafting for, 2 hours, 3 hours a day. So this is a perfect way in order to kind of cut down on that cost so you can use your WoW time more wisely and you're not just kind of sitting around and being a little bit bored. So that is the first main reason. Now, of course, we have the other big reason, which is you being able to cancel scan. So somebody with one account, and especially if you do not have a Brutosaur, if you are posting, let's say, on your main character, that means every once in a while you'll have to take a trip to Orgrimmar or somewhere with an auction house in order to post your stuff. Or if you have a bank tune, that means you will have to find somewhere to log out or wait those 20 seconds to log out if you're in the middle of nowhere, log into that other character, which will take a few seconds up to a minute depending on your computer speed, and then you're on that character, cancel, post, then you have to log off and then re-log back into your main character. So this is not practical to do if you are in the middle of a raid or a Mythic Plus, or if you're in the middle of dailies inside of Korthia, you don't want to log out right then and there. So it kind of limits you on how much you can cancel scan. So if you play 3 hours a day, yes, maybe you are playing 3 hours. However, if you're doing mythics, that takes up maybe 40 minutes or 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how fast your group is. So you can only maybe cancel scan about 3 times, 4 times, depending on how many times you log off. So having a second account will make sure that you can always keep a bank tune open, and so you can always have the option of cancel scanning whenever you want to, and you do not have to disrupt anything that your main character is doing. Now, of course, if you're in the middle of a boss fight, I wouldn't recommend tabbing out or tabbing into your second monitor. Cancel scanning, posting, probably in the middle of a boss fight, not the best idea. However, let's say somebody is prepping, somebody is restoring their mana or something like that, or maybe you're just taking a quick break, waiting for a rare to spawn, waiting for something to respawn, you can quickly, do a little mouse over, cancel scan, post, and then you're good to go within seconds. So Second account, not only does it not disturb your gameplay, it also just allows you to do cancel scannings a lot more often because it's just more convenient. The next thing we have, which is just a little bonus, is that you actually can recruit a friend your own account. So if you are somebody who's big into the cosmetics and the special items, so right now there's kind of like this desert camel type of theme going on. Eventually, at least if you have an account for a whole year, you will unlock all of the cosmetics, which is a transmog set, you get a mount, you get a pet, you get a title, and it's just some really cool stuff to have. Every once in a while, the recruit a friend stuff rotates, whether it's a mount, whether it's some cosmetic stuff, so who knows what we're going to see in the future, but at time of the recording, you get some pretty cool stuff. Also, not to mention, every once in a while, you will get a game time token. I believe it's about every 3 months you will get a free game time token. So yes, I know that you are paying about twice a month more for the fact that you are paying for 2 accounts. However, every 3rd month you basically get that second account quote unquote for free because you get that free game time token for just being a part of the Recruit a Friend program. And lastly, if you are a big farmer or anything like that, you can also farm on 2 accounts at once. So of course, technically this is quote unquote multi-boxing, which has been a very touchy subject because some people do not believe in it, some people do believe it, and also Blizzard themselves have been crushing the rules a little bit and making it so multi-boxing is a lot harder. But to this date right here, as long as you are doing each individual input into each of your characters, you are allowed to multi-box. However, I will say be careful because a lot of people, as long as they see 2 characters standing next to each other who look basically the same, have the same name, and are following each other, normally they're going to report that person in the first thought that they think that's a bot, and they're going to report you. And if you do get a certain amount of reports, that can risk your account getting banned by the automated system or by Blizzard themselves without kind of going in and checking. So, of course, you are able to refute this ban system. However, Blizzard's not the best with that, so it's kind of something that you can do at your own risk. However, a method that you could do if you are interested is fishing. For example, let's say you are fishing in Maldraxxus as well as fishing in Bastion. You can have 2 characters, you can make the screen so it can fit on both of your monitor, or if you have 2 monitors, it can be on each one at the same time, and then you can be basically fishing at the same time but at 2 different places. So you scroll over, click that one, recast, move over to the other screen. When it bites, click and recast. So this is something you can do. Of course, it's kind of at your own risk. It's kind of like a gray line right now because Blizzard themselves have been pretty vague on the subject. However, currently it is not fully bannable unless you are using software or some hardware in order to improve that experience. But if you're simply just multi-boxing or running those 2 accounts at once, you should be perfectly fine as long as you do not get mass reported. But with that being said, guys, that is kind of the main reasons on why you should be thinking about a second account. Of course, there are so many other reasons that can be beneficial as well. I just want to highlight a few of them. And of course, if you have a very big reason on if you're somebody with a second account, then of course you can leave that in the comments and maybe something I didn't cover or didn't think about that could be very, very beneficial. But the next subject about this is going to be exactly how much it's going to cost, and then we're going to be moving into actually how to do it. Alright, so going into how much it will actually cost you in terms of gold to create these second accounts, it depends on what region you are in. Now, the reason for this is because each currency conversion and how much the WoW token gives and how much the other items on the shop are priced, it just varies between regions, which is why this is going to be split up between NA and EU. So if you are an EU player, you can skip to the EU portion of this, but at first we are going to be talking about the NA. So, firstly, what we are actually going to be buying is the Shadowlands Heroic Edition. Now, this is the mid-tier edition, and the reason why we are buying it is because not only does it give us Shadowlands, it also gives us a boost. So, what we can do is once we purchase this account, we can automatically load it up, and we'll be giving a level 50 boost, which we can instantly boost a character so we don't have to worry about leveling. We can instantly go to Oribos, and then all we have to do is grab those professions and everything like that. So that is the reason why you want to buy Heroic Edition. Now, in terms of USD, the Heroic Edition cost $60, while the base version cost $40. So basically, we're only paying $20 extra for this boost, which is very good because traditionally you would have to pay $60 alone just for the boost. But if you are planning to use this account, whether it is just to post or just to store things, you don't even have to buy Shadowlands. You just won't be able to level up past level 50, and you also will have to level up your own character. But you can do this easily by just buying game time. Then all you have to do is create that level 10 bank tune, send all your items, and then you can post from there. So this is going to be talking about Shadowlands due to the fact that we have talked about crafting. So, of course, you can do this a lot cheaper. However, if you do plan to buy Shadowlands, this is the way to do it. So, the breakdown is for NA, you will need to buy 6 tokens. Now, the reason for this is because each WoW token gives $15 Blizzard balance, and the Heroic Edition costs $60. So, 4 tokens out of the 6 will be going straight into the Shadowlands Heroic Edition. Then we have to buy 2 months of game time, and the reason for this is because Blizzard has changed their services, and now the only way to buy 1 game time a month at a time is actually buying a monthly subscription. But the issue is you cannot buy a monthly reoccurring subscription with Blizzard balance. So to get around this, we do have to purchase the game time bundle, which is 2 months worth. So we are paying $30 instead of $15, which is 2 WoW tokens. So that is the big change from if you saw my previous video, because now we are buying 2 months. Technically, the price does not change because we are getting 60 days of game time instead of just 30. However, the upfront cost is just a lot higher. But with that being said, buying 6 tokens at the current token price, which when recording, it is about 170,000 gold, that puts our total gold cost at 1,020,000 gold. So basically, this is just a 1 million gold investment. So of course, if you're somebody that does not have 1 million gold, this might be something that you can work toward, or you can just buy yourself 2 tokens worth for game time, and then you can use this for cancel scanning as you create more gold. Then you can finally buy yourself Shadowlands, but you will be investing about 1 million gold in order to do this. Now, going into the EU factor, sadly, not only does EU have higher price tokens, you also have to buy an extra token. And the reason for this is because your WoW token gives 13 euros, and your Heroic Edition actually costs 55 euros. So to break past this point, you actually have to buy 5 tokens for the Shadowlands Heroic Edition instead of just 4. Yes, you will have some balance left over, so you can save it or you can use it, but you will have to be purchasing 5 tokens in order to get this Heroic Edition. Then, once again, because of the game time change, you will need to buy 2 tokens for those 2 months of game time, which brings that total to 7. You are buying 7 tokens, and the actual token price currently is about 240,000 gold. So 240,000 multiplied by 7, that is 1,680,000 gold. So this investment is a little over 500,000 more than the NA region. However, I still believe that it is very worth it. Once again, you can do the same thing, which you just purchase your game time, use it to cancel scan, and then as you get more money, you can definitely upgrade to that Heroic Edition, get yourself a boost, and then start crafting on the second account. But that is going to be the cost of actually how to buy this account. Sadly, it is quite the investment, but thankfully, WoW tokens are a bit cheaper than they used to be. Definitely at the mid-range of Shadowlands, they were very expensive, so instead of paying, 200k for the NA, you're only paying 170, and instead of paying, 270, you're only paying about 240 in the EU region. But with that being said, that is just the price breakdown, and now we're going to go into the tutorial on actually how to set up these accounts. So what you will want to do is you can either go to the Blizzard website, or if you go to your Blizzard launcher at the top where your name is and the friends list is, you can click on that and then there will be an option to view account. That will open up your account options on the actual web, and then you can make your way to this area. Once you are on the web, you will want to go to the side and you will want to find games and subscription, and once you're on that page, it will list all of the games that you currently own on your Blizzard account, and then you will want to scroll all the way down and find starter editions. Now, you should see 2 options, which is a starter account for free, and then there is also the PTR account. So, Of course, if you're somebody who wants to get into the PTR, you can create that account as well, but we are going to be focusing on that starter account. So once you're down there, you just want to click Create Starter Account. You'll want to select the region for that account. In my case, it would be Americas and Oceania, and then you will just want to create an account. Then it will say it is created. It will take a second to load, and then you can open up your browser. If it doesn't automatically update, I would say close out your browser and kind of relaunch Blizzard, and it should be there. In my case, this is technically my third account, so that is what it's going to say. However, yours should come up as WoW too. And then as you notice, it will also say WoW Starter Account. But you will want to open up your Blizzard launcher once again. You will want to find Shadowlands on the Blizzard launcher, and then you will want to select your Heroic Edition. Now, once you have that Heroic Edition selected, you will want to hit Buy Now, and then you will want to make sure that you select the correct account. Now, generally, it is either your WoW 2 if you do not have a second account already, but in my case, it will be WoW 3 because that is my third account. But after you select it, you will just want to hit Continue, and then it will talk to you about continuing, or you can upgrade, but you'll just want to continue with the Heroic Edition, and then you just go through your balance, and then you will want to hit Pay Now. And then after waiting a little bit, it will process, and then it will say it's complete. Then it will ask you about probably buying a subscription, but you will just want to ignore that. You can select, I'll buy my subscription later, then you can continue, and then you can just make your way and actually go launch that game. Now, at this point, your account will still say Starter Edition because you still have not gotten game time. However, that is okay. Just launch it up. Now, starting up the game, it will ask you to create a character. However, you will want to pause a second if you decide to recruit a friend this account. So if you are planning on recruiting a friend, what you will want to do is open up your main game. Then on your friends list, there will be a recruit a friend section right here. It will probably be blank if you do not have already recruited a friend, but you will want to hit recruitment, and then you will want to create a link. After you do this, you just open this up on your browser, and then it will ask you which account you want to recruit. In my case, this is WoW 3, so you will just want to select that account and accept that invitation. After you accept that invitation, then you are good to go. As you can see, you should see a list here. As you can see, 0 of the 12 monthly subs have been provided, but this was my first account, so you will only see 1 if this is your second account. But since I was creating a third in this process, as you can see, I now have 2 listed. But that means that it is good to go, which means the final thing you can do is you will want to make your way to the store. You will want to find your subscription. And then right here, you will see game time. Now, as you know that you have to buy 60 days now instead of just 30 days. So that is why this is so expensive, but thankfully you are paying for 2 months up front. So technically it's the same cost, however, it's just more upfront. But you will just want to select buy now. Once you do, you will want to make sure that you select the correct account. So in my case, it is WoW 3. Then we will want to hit continue. You want to make sure you buy it with your Blizzard balance. And then you will want to hit pay now. Now we officially have game time, so if you go over to that third account, as you can see, it now shows Shadowlands instead of that starter edition, and it has that 2-month sub period. So now you can log on to this character, you can use your level 50 boost, and then you could just start with the gold making. Now the next part of this video, it is going to showcase how to actually set up TSM across multiple accounts with just syncing your data. So that will be the next part of this video, and I hope you enjoy. Now, to actually link your TSM profiles between accounts, it is actually pretty simple to do. And the reason why you want to do this is because if you are running 2 accounts, they traditionally will not share information for each other. So if one account, let's say, is storing everything, your TSM on your other account will say that you don't have any of those materials. However, you really do. It's just on a separate WoW instance. So the first step to do is you want to open your TSM settings. Under General, you can scroll down and there will be Account Syncing. Then you just want to do this on your main account where your TSM is, and then you'll want to enter the name of your character on the other account. Make sure that you are actually on that second account character, logged into the world. So in this example, I'm on this second account, so I am just going to type in that character's name. And then after that point, you just entered in and it will say it is connected. So right now, as you can see, it says it is connecting. It says that it is establishing connection. Now, as that one is connecting, you will want to go onto your other account, and then you will want to type in the name of your main character. So in this sense, it is Spell Sense, and I hit enter. Then it will say I am connecting to this person, and right now, as you can see, it is actually offline because I am trying to connect. And as you can see, AltSense is also offline right now. Then, if you just wait a little bit, it will take a little bit of time. As you can see, it officially says it is connected. And then the sync status will just say updating. Then, if we keep hovering, as you can see, the info has changed. And we are just syncing up our data. So, depending on how much data you have and everything like that, it will take a few minutes. You just will want to let it do its thing. It will make sure it is sending over whatever you need to do. There we go. As you can see, it is slowly starting to connect. We can actually see all of our alts on this character now. So it is doing its thing. You'll just want to wait a little bit, keep letting this process run, and I will get back whenever it's finished. As you guys can see, we have waited for the stuff to load, and then I did a quick reset. If we go over to my main account and scroll down, it now says I'm offline because I did quickly just reset. However, it was all updated, and as you can see, I now have my chart. Now, everything is a little bit weird because I didn't let the full gold transfer. I just let the gold graph and everything transfer. So if you wait a little bit longer, it should update perfectly. But as you can see, we now have an actual working chart. And if we look over to our ledger, and as you can see, we can also see some of our sales. Since I didn't let it update all the way, the sales are not all the way here. It is not everything that we have. As you can see, it is only these 2 characters so far that they have actually ported over. So if I wait this whole thing, all of my character data will be transferred. However, the inventory stuff is working, which is kind of the big deal. So as you can see, as I hover this over on my second account, I can actually see this on other characters. For example, the Mage Weave Cloth, I can see it on all of these other characters, which is on the separate account. So yes, I waited for the gold graft and everything to update, and that upgraded my inventory, so at least I know what type of ink I have on each character. For example, as you can see, I have 2,200 in total, and 700 of that is on my other account, while 1,500 is right here. So that is super good. Now, as time goes on, as I just sit on these 2 accounts, the other stuff will come in, and then I will see all 12 character data right here. But for now, it's pretty good. I still have my graph, and also I just have the inventory, which is really the most important part. But thank you guys. I hope this video kind of helped you guys out. Of course, you guys can ultimately decide if you do want to buy a second account or not, or possibly a third account if you're somebody who already has one. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to join the Discord down below. That is where you're going to find all of the updates about my videos, about me streaming and all of that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, have a good day.